With your exhibition being in 2022 and your story being shared now, you think you've come at the right time?
Man, yeah. I mean, so it's interesting because Not Your Masi's Generation is the name of the exhibition, but also in December of 2020, I released a book called Not Your Masi's Generation.
Yeah, on your Insta, that looks sick.
Yeah, and so that while while there are poems about my ba and round rotis and things like that, it's mostly about mental health and really about just breaking down some of that stigma that not just our community, but folks of color, Black, Indigenous folks, queer folks have been sort of limited to having those conversations for whatever reason, whether it's access, whether it's the stigma of having that conversation, right, and sharing some of the things that you might have going on inside your mind and being shameful about that, about just not being quite knowledgeable on what those first steps might look like, right? And so the book is catered for really 13 and up. So that little Asha that I even talked about at the beginning, this book could be for her. And that was my intention, right? Is because, and then older as well. And it really just walks folks through the concept of generational trauma, walks folks through both cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy. So talking about how we communicate, right? Because we can't have the conversation about the story from the past if we can't even communicate with each other. Right? And I mean, being in education, I'm quite lucky because we have to be on the forefront of having these emotional, it's like tapped in conversations. And because with youth, otherwise they'll just say fuck off, right? And that's it. So, So I think I've learned quite a bit being an educator and how to communicate. But then I go to my family and they don't have that knowledge. And so then I'm like this super emotional, like in touch, like person. And they're just like, what are you talking about? Like, shut up. Right. And so I wrote the book and I ended up publishing it. Also because I was going through my own mental health struggles and needed to, I kind of went back to the emo days of writing in the journal, except I made the journal, right? So this is a workbook and it has questions and prompts and things like that to lead the reader through just everything that they're processing. And, that book was released in December of 2020, the worst time in the world to publish a book. It wasn't for money. I mean, it's sold and on sale everywhere, but
don't worry, I'll link it, or I'll put the link in the bio.
So, but you know what I mean? It's like I really put that out during December 2020 because folks were struggling. Like, folks were really having a difficult time getting through this, right? And so Not Your Masi's Generation, like, I'm drawing a line in the sand. Like, I get this is our history, I get this is our past, but there are certain things that we have done as a community that I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
And so this is my line in the sand, right? This is me saying, I'm not you, auntie. Like I get you, I respect you, but I'm going to do things a little bit differently, right? And so, that's where this whole thing sort of started. And when I was gearing up for this exhibition and making a flyer and launching it online and everything like that, I kind of was like, yo, Asha, I feel like it needs to have the same title. It's all the same thing, And so, man, 2022, bringing this thing to life. We're just going to keep up that vibe, being really honest. And sometimes that honesty is uncomfortable. And sometimes it's really joyous, right? So like, I know I talked a little bit about like it not all being sunshine and rainbows. There's definitely rainbows and sunshine, there's definitely beautiful images and paintings. I'm looking around my house because they're all on my walls, and stories to be told. So it's kind of accepting the good with the bad. You know what I mean? And so we're just bringing honesty in 2022. We ain't got time for all the other stuff.
I love to hear it. Bye.